Oh, that's not a square. That's a square. This is a square. Why am I talking about squares? Well, I'm glad you asked. Mac! Demarco has dropped a new single. It is the third single that he has dropped since announcing his new album, Here Comes the Cowboy, and it is called On the Square. Now, the things that I took away from this song were that, for one, instrumentation kind of resembles This Old Dog, at least with the synths, and it still has that very simple nature to it where it doesn't shift too often. The only instrumental shift that I could pick up on was the synth and the piano that sort of kind of change a little bit, but the synth is the one that's a little more active in that. It goes dun, 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 and it kind of has this very laid back feeling to it that comes across in the song. The overall composition is pretty good, like I enjoy it, but it's not striking, I guess, in the way that the skeletal nature of the previous single was in the one I talked about, where he had the kind of reptilian visual thing going on. And he had some visuals here that I think actually were a lot better in at least contributing to the potential narrative I think he was talking about on the Square. Now, On the Square features kind of this narrator that seems to be talking about someone's life, and the first line being like, "this again," which seems to like infer the idea that someone's been in a scenario and they're still dealing with this scenario, like it's just happening again. This time it's the brother's hand that's helping them, that family idea that's helping them. Now, the story really actually comes out more in the chorus and sort of towards the second verse, where they're talking about, is this really the life you wanted? Is this like what you want to do? And when you finally like, or when you acknowledge that this isn't what you wanted to do, then you feel free to come to me. Whoever that me is might be someone in that person's life that's helping them navigate this. Now, the square part comes in where they're talking about living on the square, living in this kind of, not decrepit, not necessarily horrible, but this assimilated life that just simply is square. Usually when you call someone square, they're kind of just average, boring. They don't really have any edges to them, and they don't really distort the world in a particular light. They kind of just are. They kind of just exist. To be square is kind of a death sentence to any kind of fun and a personality, unfortunately. So what this could mean is that they are talking about the person's life being just kind of boring, and this person actually trying to navigate between that, like trying to accept that. They talk about, you know, when you square it up, when you, and not square up, but just kind of view your life and look at, like, just take a look at like how your life is going. Is this what you really wanted? Which can talk about, you know, which can just lead into the discussion of what you want to do in your life, the future, all kinds of stuff. And this person seems to be trying to figure out if they want to live this square life where you kind of are basically assimilated. And the only reason I say assimilated is because the story that the visual projects is similar, and at least kind of furthers that idea of living a square life. Now, what happens in the visual is that there's this dude on the stage in a suit with a weird mask, and there's only one person in the crowd watching him. There's like no one else there. It's a kind of this very dark room, and he dips his head in this pool, and when he looks into it, there's just all these different people in animal masks and suits similar to his, and they're kind of just meandering around in this very blank space. And initially when I saw it, I watched the visual first because I was just hoping that it would be like, you know, just music, but it wasn't. There's sound effects and stuff, so if you want to listen to the music just by itself, probably should do that, just because the sound effects kind of do tamper a little bit with hearing the music. So I had to go listen to the single by itself just so I could like get a better idea of like the lyrics and stuff, because it was distracting, but in a good way. And these creatures are kind of walking around this blank space, and this guy's just observing them. And the thing that I took from that was that, okay, they're all in animal masks of some sort. It's not like these are eldritch creatures of the night trying to like kill him or anything. It's just these people walking around. So what I took from that is that the ideas that expectations can really shape, like people expect this of you, society expects this of you, and typically those who kind of follow that path are these people that might be in this blank space. And what's happening is that they're adhering to those rules, they're following these rules, they're not really, you know, deviating from that. But the key thing is that they still have that primal nature, and I think that might be where the animal mask comes in. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but this is what I think. These animal masks are depicting the primal instinct that they have, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go pillage and destroy the village. Instead, it's just they still have that real feeling of what they truly want to do. If I had to do the typical comparison, being an artist versus, you know, being a lawyer, maybe someone really truly wants to be an artist, but they for some reason are at a law firm because mom or dad or whoever said this would be good and you'd be helping society. There's like risks that come with anything, but basically playing it safe and staying uniform, which is also a key thing in that visual. All of the people in these animal masks and stuff all have suits of some sort, even the person watching. And staying safe and not really deviating kind of almost leads to this blank space where nothing is unique, nothing has any flair, nothing has any flavor. It's just bland flour and it's just sitting there and it's probably waiting to be molded, but this is the safest path. It's sort of like not leaving your room. That's a bit of a joke since I do this in my room. But anyway, it's sort of like not leaving your room and just being trapped, and only not leaving your room because there's potential danger outside and it's safer in a house, but you can also die in your house. So who's really thinking about it? But yeah, that idea of isolation and ostracization are something that I think people fear, and that leads them to not taking risk and doing what they want. And I think that Mac is kind of talking about that because he's almost kind of not necessarily chiding them, but a little bit chiding, like asking, hey, like, is this the life you really wanted? And if you're not about this life, I mean, you want to come over here, I can help you with that. Like, because I can tell that you're about to fall back into what you truly want to do, or you're going to fall back into this assimilation, into this place you don't like. And when you break down again, me, your brother, maybe the brother is the person that's like singing this, but me, your brother, will come help you. I'll come help you through that. So yeah, this idea of squaring up, and squaring up could also just mean quite literally squaring up. Maybe it is squaring up and fighting the idea that you should assimilate because you don't want to be isolated. The idea that you should do the normal thing because if you don't do the normal thing, then no one will like you. The idea of being, you know, unique, but having to deal with the potential ramifications of that. The temptation to avoid any confrontation with the expectations and society and all those things. Squaring up could literally mean just like confront this and be who you want to be versus who people expect you to be. However, again, this is a very chill and laid back song, so that messaging could be completely off. I don't know. But that's sort of the idea I take from it. Because again, when people are described as squares, it's kind of this not necessary. It's a degrading term. It's basically saying, dog, you're boring. You have no personality. And again, talking about being in that blank space and not allowing those primal instincts, those urges that are for, I'm again reaching here, but creativity and doing the thing you want to do that hopefully and should not be harming anyone. If it's not harming anyone and it's just weird, that's fine. If you're harming someone, fuck off. But like, if you're just, you know, you want to be an artist or you want to do this, but you're doing something else that you don't want to do, that is the key difference. And I think that the narrator is helping this person, whoever this person may be, who is struggling to come to terms with what they truly want to be, and maybe assisting them out of that. Overall, it's a good song, very chill. I like it, you know. It doesn't really do too much, like sonically. Again, like the only real thing that kind of moves a little bit, that almost feels like a TikTok of sorts, is the synth. The piano and the bass are really nice, but again, it's kind of very, very simple song beyond the stretch that I did for 10 minutes. It's at 10 minutes right now, so hopefully I don't edit this and make myself look stupid. I'm kidding, I'm definitely gonna edit it. Alright, so cool song. Mac Demarco on the square. On the square. Well, this guy says there's no need to let your interests be boxed in by anybody. You should just be whatever shape you want to be. For me, I don't really like squares because I can't make them that well. But I can make a heart. I heart your interest, creativity, whatever you want to do. You do it. I'm going to figure out how to move my arm. No, seriously, I'm stuck.